Bonjour! Hello, I am Elodie from Melody Through My Lens. And today I want to show you a little freebie that I made. It's my process, how I made a specific diptych. It's a winter diptych. You can see the cat there. It's a winter diptych. I'm going to show you first a little behind the scene of where I took the images. And the diptych is composed of two images, and I'm going to show you how I edited them. And one of them is a double exposure, so it's very interesting to show you this process. Enjoy! I am at this beautiful location, trying to shoot different angles. I also played with long exposure and neutral density filter, as I show in my new course, Chasing Winter Light. On my way, I also tried to shoot some details of the snow in the trees or on the wooden stairs to have some variety. For my diptych, I want to have this duality of cold and crisp winter on one image, as well as the golden glow of the sun shining in the other image, with a touch of details of this frozen wonderland. This is my final diptych. We are going to create this diptych. All the images here were taken at the location of the waterfall. First, we are going to do the image on the right, which is a double exposure. A double exposure is a technique where two different images or more are one on top of the other in a single frame, and it creates a blended effect, very artistic, and combine the elements of both images. It can be done in camera or in post-processing, and here we are going to do it in post-processing. So this specific double exposure is composed of two images. The first one is an image of the ice on the stairs, and I edited it first to bring out the colors and added some contrast. And finally, I flipped it vertically. The second image is the image of the waterfall with the high trees, and I edited it in Lightroom to bring it to life. To go over the editing process quickly, I decreased the highlights and brought up the shadows. I added some texture and clarity and dehazing and vibrancy, and then I took my image into Photoshop to add some sharpening with a high pass filter, and I added a lightscaping overlay, and I cropped it again. So now you have these two images that we are going to combine, and I'm going to open them both in Photoshop. I am dragging the stair images on top of the landscape image. Usually in double exposures, I use the blending mode overlay. Then everything that is dark on this layer is going to show the image that is under. That is also why I wanted to use the image of the stairs, because the middle of the image is very dark and it's going to let through the second image. I am pressing Command and T on my keyboard at the same time to access the free transform tool. And then I am going to modify the size of the image to put it how I want. If the link over there is activated, then the ratio of the image is going to stay the same. But if you deactivate the link, then you can play with the different dimensions. You can do a right click and select flip horizontally. I like both versions, flipped and not flipped. And I'm going to do the second one in a few minutes. So I'm going to leave it flipped here, and I'm going to place the overlay so I can see the trees. So now I think I am good. I am going to bring the double exposure back into Lightroom to do the finishing touches. I could do the finishing touches in Photoshop, but my computer is quite slow, so it's quicker if I go back to Lightroom to do these finishing touches. I am going to add some contrast, and I do that all the time with double exposures because it really helps defining both images. I am going to lower the shadows and the blacks here. And you see on the histogram that I have some clipped blacks and some blown highlights. And usually I try not to, but this time I'm just going to leave it like that because I want to have a strong image and I am not going to print it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. But it is something that you should always look out and not leave images with black that are clipped and white that are blown. I am going to add some textures and some clarity. And I am also going to add a little bit of warmth where the sun is with a radial filter by upping the temperature up to give this golden look. Okay, so that's my final image. Now let's work on the diptych. You can see that the raw image is clearly overexposed. It's because I wanted to have the different details in the darker part of the image. But then I have to do more work in post-processing to make it pop. So I did my different settings to make this image beautiful again in Lightroom. And I went after in Photoshop to add some sharpening and a lightscaping overlay. So that's the final landscape image. And I'm bringing this image into Photoshop. And I am also bringing the image of the tree and the stairs because we are going to use these three images for my diptych. So I'm going to copy this image and move it a little bit on to the left because on the left image I want to have this whole bunch of trees to be in the middle, and I am going to bring the tree image as a second layer and I will place it a bit in the center where my second image is supposed to be. And now I'm bringing the stair image and I will resize the stairs. I am positioning it with the white part on the right. And I'm going to show you why I prefer this, because if I use the image that we previously did for the diptych, I don't really like the transition between both images. So I'm going to leave it like that with the white on the right side. Now I'm going to use the blending mode overlay again for the stairs. And you can see that the edges of the photos of the tree are visible. So I'm going to add a mask on this layer and I'm going to paint out in black on the mask to erase the edges. I like the new look now, but I am not sure about the part here above. And so I am going to duplicate the stair layer and I'm going to add this little part here to cover it with the mask. Now you can see also this little bit of trees going through the white part, and these trees are from the image on the left. So I'm going to select the layer of the image on the left. I'm going to add a mask and erase this part. And under it will be okay because it will be the image that wasn't moved and it will be the sky. So now I am going to bring back the image into Lightroom for some finishing touch-up. I'm going to decrease the highlights and I really want to make the left image pop up a little bit more. I want the white on the snow to be more white and to match also the white on the image on the right. So I am going to add a radial filter and bring up the exposure quite a bit to make it pop. So this is the final image. and I hope you really enjoyed to see the process. I hope you enjoyed this video. You can follow me on Instagram to know more about my photography courses and upcoming courses, and also my freebies. So I hope to see you there. Bye bye!